What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So what's next for the Eagles? Last February, after Philadelphia won the Super Bowl, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow made comments about the Eagles paying their players. This is what he said. The Eagles are paying everybody, Burrow said. That seems like the way, whatever they are doing. Now this is Howie Roseman speaking. During the end-of-season press conference, Howie Roseman offered insight into the process, what takes place, and how the pendulum will swing toward the defense. Dallas Goedert, Nakobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, Adoree Jackson, Marcus Epps, Fred Johnson, Brandon Graham, and Jahan Dotson are among 20 free agents who will hit the open market. Dean and Phillips are the only two who had hold priority, and both would depart depending on the market. So these are some big names that are on the free agent market. Dallas Goedert, big name. Jalen Phillips, Brandon Graham, Jahan Dotson. So I'm just going to kind of go through all these players. I'm going to say, do I think they're going to be back? And I'm going to say, would I bring them back if it was up to me? So starting with Dallas Goedert, the tight end. To me, you have to bring him back. I don't think you can let this guy walk. He's a great tight end. He can block, he can catch. And ultimately, you just don't have a replacement for him. I don't think either of the backups like Grant Calcaterra, there's nobody on the team that's better than Dallas Goedert. To me, you have to bring him back. Now, I would draft a tight end in this coming draft. I think you have to draft a tight end for the future because obviously Goedert is old and he just won't be here that much longer. But I think you got to try and bring him back. And I think they will end up bringing him back. I think it's a must. I think obviously there's no better really option on the team. Now you could go out in free agency and get somebody. I'm not sure what all tight ends are out there on the market at the time. I do believe Kyle Pitts, the Falcons tight end, is on the market. However, he can't block, and so that's why I don't think the Eagles will be taking that route and going to grab Kyle Pitts. So moving on to Nakobe Dean, we'll see. I'm not exactly sure whether or not he will be back. Obviously, there's other guys that need to be paid before him. I'm going to probably say he's not back. Reed Blankenship, I'm probably going to say he's not back. Now, he wouldn't be super expensive, so he could come back. A lot of people are saying he might go to Dallas and follow Christian Parker, who went to Dallas. So we'll see whether or not he's back. I'm going to assume probably not, but I could see him come back because, again, he's not super expensive. You can get him back for a cheap price. Jalen Phillips, I think he's gone. I think you're going to have to pay him too much, and obviously you have to make sure that you pay and that you extend Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. So those are the priorities over a guy like Jalen Phillips. Again, you can replace Jalen Phillips. There's some guys obviously coming up. Jalen Hunt, still young, still a little bit developing, but I think he showed some promising things this season. So got a lot of confidence in Jalen Hunt that he's going to come and have and just continue to get better as his career goes along. Adoree Jackson, he really didn't have a great season. I think he had some games where he was actually pretty good, but I do think he had his moments where he was not good. So I'm going to say he's not back. Marcus Epps, I doubt he's back. Fred Johnson, we'll see. I could see him not being back. I'm going to say he's probably back. I think Brandon Graham's going to hang him up and retire. Jahan Dotson, I don't think he's back. So those are just kind of some of the decisions. Again, you're not going to pay all these guys. There's some other things that you got to do before you prioritize all of these players. And so I think some of them will be back, but I don't believe that all of them will be back. So now let's get into the offensive coordinator search for the Philadelphia Eagles. As many of you guys know, Mike McDaniels took the job with the Los Angeles Chargers, the offensive coordinator job. That sucks. I wanted Mike McDaniel. I think a lot of people did. A lot of people are saying they want Brian Daboll, the former Giants head coach, to be the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And actually, I want this to I'd be okay if this happened. I didn't realize that Brian coached both Jalen and Devontae in college. So I would be 100% okay if they went Brian to Bull. I'd be 100% fine with that. But there is obviously some other options out there. And one of them I'm going to get into right now. So with the first and maybe second batch of names now unavailable, the Eagles have turned their attention to some less speculated options. They are reportedly interested in talking to the Houston Texans quarterback coach Jerrod Johnson. Johnson has been around both Philadelphia and Nick Sirianni over the course of his career. He was a former college QB who signed with the Eagles in 2011 as an undrafted free agent. He only spent about a month with the team before ultimately being released ahead of roster cuts. Johnson spent the next 5 years bouncing around to various teams before making the move to the coaching ranks. He ended up on Sirianni's offensive staff with the Colts for the 2020 season and worked his way up to the quarterback coach with the Texans for the past 3 seasons. He was working with Houston QB C.J. Stroud, who struggled at times, but has also absolutely been electric and has had some high moments as well. So he's an option, Jerrod Johnson. There's many options. I don't know who they're going to go, to be quite honest with you. I don't know who they're going to go, and we'll see what way they end up going with that. So now I'm just kind of going to go through just what I think. I'm very disappointed that we couldn't beat the Niners. If you guys watch my last video, I gave you guys my playoff predictions. I had the Eagles and the Jags in Super Bowl 60, and boy was I wrong, because both the Eagles and Jags went home in round 1. So I am very upset that happened. I'm really pissed off at Nick Sirianni and pissed off at Kevin Patullo. This team had the talent. They had the talent. That's the bottom line. They should have at least made the NFC Championship game. They had the talent. The coaching let them down, and that's Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo. Now, Patullo has been fired. For those of you that do not know, he has been fired, which is awesome. He needed to go. He sucks. So I'm glad that Kevin Patullo is gone. But still, I'm really pissed off at Nick Sirianni. I think Sirianni needs to be held accountable. I think you got to strip him from all sorts of play calling. I think he's an absolute he's bad at play calling. He's bad at calling plays. I don't like him. I don't like Nick Sirianni. He disappointed the team. He disappointed the fans, the organization, Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, everybody. He just disappointed everybody, and the only reason he still has this job is because he won the Super Bowl last year with the Eagles, but I don't believe that was him. I believe he got carried by the players and the coordinators. I think that showed this year, just based off of everything that we have been seeing throughout the season. So what's next? I think really what's next is we're hopefully going to get the right offensive coordinator. If that were to happen, I think this team could be back as a Super Bowl contender. I think you got to draft O-line a bit early in the draft, get some younger offensive linemen, see if that'll be better. Try to get that healthy. That could be a big factor. You got to pay guys like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. So those are some big things. The O-line needs to be looked at. You got to draft some guys. You got to draft some O-linemen. You got to draft a tight end, in my opinion. A lot of people are talking about A.J. Brown, and a lot of people are saying it's really 50-50. People want to trade A.J. Brown. People want to keep A.J. Brown. I'm on the train of I want to keep A.J. Brown. I don't want to move this guy. I think A.J. is a heck of a receiver. I think he's a heck of a football player. I think ultimately he was pissed off at Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. And I think he's every right to be pissed off. I'm pissed off at both of them as well. I love A.J. Brown. I think he should be staying. But there was reports that he requested a trade. And if that's true, I think he's probably gone. The big thing is you're going to eat a lot of dead cap trading A.J. Brown. And I don't see how they would trade A.J. Brown if he did not request a trade. So I'm going to say they probably end up keeping him. I'd be very upset if they traded A.J. My question is, how does that make you better? Who's the replacement if you trade a guy like A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown, he's a physical receiver, right? He's got good size to him. And I just think give him a good offensive coordinator, make him happy, and I think he'll be back to his normal self and being back to one of the best receivers in the league. Obviously, Devontae Smith, he will be here for his entire career. At least he better be, and I'm not worried about him going anywhere. So that's what's next for the Eagles. Just get the right offensive coordinator, do some things with the O-line, draft a tight end, try and make AJ happy by getting the right offensive coordinator. And then when you do those things, you're going to be in a good situation come next year. So that's all I have. Really, there's not a lot of big news. I will be covering all the news in the offseason regarding the Eagles and other teams as well. And so yeah, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the Eagles. Let me know what you think about other teams in the comments. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Peace out.